Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Romanesco coming at you from great state of Wisconsin. This is episode 4, Finding Your Inner Badass. Now there's going to be 3 steps that I believe you can use to find your inner badass. And step 0 is to do dolphin dives off the ledge in radiation. Now all those guys that are stuck behind me, they failed at it. That doesn't actually count as one of the steps, but it's a hell of a good start. Now when it comes to being a badass, in my opinion, the first way to fully enjoy being a true badass is to find out why you're playing the game. Some people are probably playing Black Ops today because maybe they're sick of getting noob-tubed when it comes to Modern Warfare 2. Or perhaps they do it to help their virtual country. They fight virtual terrorism on a front that doesn't actually exist, but hey, it's fun and it's in HD. Now excuse me while I get owned. Now, if you're going to be a badass, one of the most important things is to make sure that you're alive so that you can spread around your badassery. In order to do that, here's a few helpful hints from someone who never really made it as a cool person in high school. Number 1, always stick to the sides as much as you can. If you maybe don't like getting told what to do, maybe I'll just provide the pearl of wisdom of try not to stand in the middle of the map. Or, if you stand in the middle of the map, you're not going to be as cool as you once thought you were. By standing in the middle of the map, you're basically asking for someone to kill you. And if you're able to position yourself in a corner, or perhaps right in a doorway, or a nook and cranny like I am here, you're basically setting yourself up for a great opportunity to win a gunfight. When you're a badass, remember, you can't tell other people how cool you are unless you're actually the one that's standing over their body. Here's a great example of badassery here. Another valuable lesson to learn is when to walk away. Here's a great example of learning that maybe I should have not gone back to the same spot I just was. And to reiterate back on the first point about not staying in the middle of the map, here's another great example of what not to do. That's right, kids. Stay away from enemies that have obviously more cover than you do. Remember, the blue barrels don't blow up like the red ones do, so try to stay away from just shooting at the blue barrels. Since we're talking about positioning, here's a good time to talk about making sure that you're in the position to win when you're shooting to be a badass. When you're taking flags and or rushing an area, make sure that the angles that you've provided yourself are successful. You want to make sure that you have maximum viewing area while the enemy has a minimum view of yourself. Here's a great example here when rushing C by standing between the tanks and facing the doorway. It also allows you easy access back to B when enemies are typically dropping down the C chute. The second hint into transforming yourself into a Call of Duty Black Ops casual playing badass is to get down the bling bling. Now when I mean bling bling, I mean down to the very finite details of everything that the customization of Black Ops allows you to touch. Let's start with the first thing. The first thing that most people will see in their kill cam is your gun, so make sure that you invest enough money in it. Here, you'll see that I'm ringing the doorbell on this gentleman with a gold FAMAS. Now, gold FAMASes don't give you stopping power like the rumor started earlier when the Black Ops first came out, but what the gold FAMAS does tell you is that I've got so much money, I go on vacations to virtual areas inside Call of Duty Black Ops and spend $50,000 on making my gun look better than yours. The next portion of the gun that's fairly important is your emblem. Black Ops allows you to tell the world a lot about who you are, mainly through the use of about 24 pages of predefined symbols. Now, if you're not the creative type, and you can't find a way to show your pride on your weapon of choice, check out YouTube. There's some really great options for some pretty awesome emblems. So now that we've covered the aesthetics of your weapon, let's get down to the real details. I mean, come on, let's be serious. You're not carrying around a highly illegal and fully automatic gold-plated weapon just for looks now, are you? No, of course not. Every weapon has the ability to attach 1 and or 2 attachments. I have a rule that I like to stick to regarding noob tubes. That's right. I prefer not to use noob tubes on my weapons because I'm afraid it's going to get me shanked in the real life. So what I'm going to do instead is wait until someone else uses a noob tube, pick up their gun, switch to the grenade launcher, and roll with that for the rest of the game. Here we see another great example of standing out in the open when I probably shouldn't have. Some attachments you'll see more than others. I personally prefer dual mags because it gives me more ammo, and I like to throw bullets at people. Another option is extended mags, which allows you to throw bullets for a longer period of time. And of course, if you want to come off as the highly accurate type, feel free to run with the red dot sight. As my napalm comes crashing into the ground here and I dance in it, you'll see that I take advantage of the grenade launcher rule that I've already set by taking care of this fine gentleman and using his commando. Okay, well that didn't go as well as I planned. When you're using your grenade launcher that you picked up from someone else or any other attachment in that manner, this may not actually be the best option to do. When I say this, I mean standing in one of the most open locations on the map, just waiting to use your grenade. Instead, I've decided to chase down my perpetrator, there we go, and use old-fashioned bullets. In hindsight, that jump was probably a really bad move, and directly conflicted with the first rule of staying in the open map. We're getting close to the end, so let's talk about our third rule of being a badass after we recap the first two. 1. Make sure that you know what type of player you are and to be happy with the way that you play your Call of Duty games. 2. Make sure that your gun looks good, your perks are set up well, and your attachments accurately reflect the type of player that you are. This leads us to our third option, and that is, you have to talk shit really well. I'll tell you what, if there's one thing that I could really practice, this is the area that I'd focus on. Sometimes you get people who are just not as good as you are, and yet they still make you feel a little bad because they talk crap so much better than you do. So hey, if you can't soak up on the third lesson, just make sure you own them, like Power Romanesco did right here in this map at Radiation. So enjoy the final kill cam. It's Power Romanesco playing ground war domination here in the great state of Wisconsin. Folks, I'm powering down, and hopefully by next week, you'll have siphoned your inner badass. Take care.